If you're in sales and if you want to dominate, it doesn't mean you have to go and get a new, better objection handling technique or a new framework, a new script. Yes, those things are important, but I'm telling you, the foundation of your sales, which is going to be about 80% of it, is going to come down to this one thing. It's going to be your belief that you actually deserve to win. It's simple, but so many salespeople miss this portion. And the reason why I can say this is because I've been in high ticket sales for over 2 years. I've been able to collect over $5 million dollars in revenue. So that's my cash collected. And I've been able to work in some of the biggest offers with some absolute killers, whether we're talking about closers and setters. And I've been able to get trained by the very best. And of course, I was able to differentiate the ones who are at the top of the leaderboards versus those who are always at the bottom who are always struggling. And the problem here is when you don't believe in yourself in terms of you being able to win and help people change their lives. And again, maybe you're not in high ticket sales, maybe you're selling a product or a service that's completely unrelated, but this is going to be very valuable for you. It's going to lead into hesitation in how to talk to a prospect, hesitation in how to challenge a prospect, hesitation when it comes to price drop. And this really just comes from the lack of scarcity of you losing the deal. And many times that just leads into validation of needing the approval of the prospect. So essentially, if we're looking at this dynamic here in sales, you're supposed to be above. You're the authority figure. But as soon as you start to lower yourself down, you're going to raise a prospect up higher than you. And that's when the prospect can walk all over you. And of course, you won't be able to call them out on their BS responses, which you know deep down inside when you should be challenging a prospect, but you don't. And that's how you're able to lose a sell. But it's a complete opposite, actually. When you're actually in your frame, you're in your authority, because the moment you start to be in that level, I would like to just say it's a leadership frame. And that should be a perspective that you should look at yourself of no longer just being another salesperson. You're a leader, you're a coach because you understand your product and service so much better than they do. It doesn't matter if you only understand it a percent better or 10% better, you still have so much value to offer that they're the ones that need you in order for them to get their problem solved. And the way you do this is you have to understand that, well, one, I'll talk to you a little bit more about some self regulation, but kind of going a little bit back further. And the reason why I'm talking to you about this is because I see people in sales where they have inconsistency. You'll see guys who are crushing it for a week, 2 weeks, they fall off. Then it takes a few weeks for them to get back up. They fall off, rinse and repeat. It's like that inconsistent income spike that a lot of salespeople can relate to. And I myself can relate to myself with that as well. I'm guilty of it. And again, this is stating outside of, new funnel changes or prospects are different, qualifications drop. Like, we're not talking about those things. We're saying, like, hey, if everything is congruent, then why are salespeople falling off and why are they not getting to the top and having that consistency? So, reason I bring this up is because I myself, during sales, especially in the very beginning of my career, I had this essentially this frame of being too friendly. I was always too buddy buddy with people. And for me, I did mean well. I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to make it, be friendly. But at the same time, too, I was seeking validation. I was seeking approval of the prospects to where, sure, at the end of the call, I'd always say it was a great conversation, but objection this came up or objection that came up, and I wasn't able to get the deal across the finish line. And that's because I wasn't congruent in being who I was supposed to be during the call. So the way I was able to catch that was I was able to see the closers and the people who are at the top of the leaderboards and understand when I was listening to their sales calls that they were not too warm as I was. They had like this neutrality about them where they weren't too cold to where the prospect can already feel sales resistance. Like, they're able to laugh, they're able to challenge, they're able to kind of pull back and go forth. And that was something where I had to learn for myself. And again, those mistakes cost me a lot of money because that was a lot of commission that I could have earned. But at the same time, too, if I were to go back and tell myself, hey, instead of you focusing on the script more, or instead of you focusing on how to handle objections more, the best thing that you should be doing is going into the call and understanding who you are. Because it's not about what you say, it's about who you are when you're saying those things. And people can respect that much more than you reading a objection off of a script. So the biggest thing I would say is when you're in sales, the way you build authority is one, obviously it's going to come down to repetition. If you're just starting off in sales, you're just going to have to get used to, of course, focusing on the foundation of it. Maybe you're reading a script or you're going off of a framework. But over time, you're going to have to kind of not let go of those things completely necessarily. Because again, there might be a different SOP at the companies you are, but lean out in a way that you can be personable but still be willing enough to understand that at the end of the day, you're the person that has what they're seeking, and they're the ones dealing with the problem that could have been for a week, months, or a year or years. And they're the ones that need the problem solved. The other thing when it comes to authority is we tend to want to avoid friction, but friction is what actually creates change because without friction, there's never going to be any change. So it's okay for you to be direct and challenge prospects and call them out on things and even coach them throughout the process too of, hey, so you're telling me you've been struggling with this. What makes you think that now all of a sudden is the time to finally do something about it? Or do you mind if I actually challenge you for a second and essentially see like where you're currently struggling through right now? Again, don't use that word for word, but you should be willing enough to step up to the plate and challenge them, especially when you hear red flags when they say some things of why they haven't changed their situation because of finances or they just don't trust companies or whatever their objections are. You got to pre-handle those things. And it's just going to be the detachment. When you detach from sales, it makes it so much more fun. You have more of an energy about you because you're not attached to just a commission. You're able to be present during the conversations with people. And that in itself is attractive because it's no longer this repulsive energy of you feeling much more lower than they are and the prospect is over you. And instead, when you come in as who you are, which again, you've got value, you've got authority. And if you're willing enough to lose the sell because the prospect isn't even a good fit, then I'm telling you, you're going to have so much of a better energy that you're going to close more deals. So, those are my 2 cents. I hope that this actually helps you guys. And if you do close deals after watching this video, after putting some authority into it, and oh, one thing too, because I did talk about self regulation. So, a cool little thing that you can do before you talk to a prospect, again, it could be in high ticket sales like I'm doing, which is remote, or maybe you're cold calling or you're working at a dealership, whatever it is. Give yourself a little, it could be something quick. It could be for 5 minutes. If you don't have 5 minutes, it could be 3 minutes. If you don't have 3 minutes, a minute, 30 seconds, whatever it is. And just focus on slowing down your breathing and just remind yourself of who you are. It's okay to have that ego. It's okay to give yourself some affirmations that actually boost you up because that confidence is what's going to carry into you talking to the prospect. And when you're more calm and collected and you're not frantically thinking about of I'm going to talk to this prospect, I hope the deal closes, I hope I don't say anything incorrectly, I hope they don't, come with all these sorts of objections. Now you're coming in at a calm, collected level that you're more present and you're able to listen to them, that the cells are again just going to start lining up for you. So hopefully you found this video helpful. And again, if you got any deals across the line because you're able to build some authority, or maybe you find yourself in a much more different energy, comment down below. And again, follow, subscribe if you haven't. I got my IG and everything down below. Take care.